we've got trend line equations. Okay, so this is the same way that we write any other line, right? We're going to choose points on the trend line and set up a ratio of rise over run to find the what?
Slope.
Okay, slope. And that is m in our equation. And I'll rewrite the equation up here just as a reminder. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, so that's the m. Look at the y-axis to find the what of the line. Y-intercept. Y-intercept of the line, and that's the b value. So this isn't really anything that we haven't seen. It's all, basic stuff. And so that equation looks like y equals mx plus b. Okay? So in number one, over here, we can identify 2 points that we want our rise over run to be. So remember, when we do these, we want to identify points that are exactly on the line and in the center of 2 different grid lines. Okay, so for example, there's a point here, and there's a point here. So you see how they are going exactly through a pair of grid lines? Okay, now, what is the rise over run for that piece, the 2 highlighted dots that I just... Okay, so what we can do is we can draw our triangle, our right triangle, and we can say up 1 and over 3. So y equals 1 over 3x. And then what type of slope is this? Is it a positive or negative? Garen already said, or Mason, someone already said negative a second ago. But yeah, it's negative. Okay. So why? Because it starts higher and ends lower, right? That's kind of the thing that gives us a negative slope. And lastly, where does it cross the x-axis? 8. It crosses up here at 8, so plus 8. And that's it, we're done. So, rise over run, and your intercept, and that's all that this is. Okay, so let's look at the next one. I'll stick with red on this one. So it crosses here, and it crosses here. Okay, what is my rise for this problem? If I draw my triangle, it's not 1. How far is my rise? 20. And then how far is my run?
40.
2. It is just 2. Because look at the bottom. You see it's counting by 1s, but on the left side it's counting by 20s. So that's why it's 20 over 2. So what is 20 over 2?
2 over 2.
No, what's 20 divided by 2?
10.
10x. Okay, and then now we just have to find where does it cross the y. Yep, at 60. So 10x plus 60. And that's it. That's it. So you notice, if I put the value of 2 in here, what is 10 times 2 plus 60? What is that value? What's 10 times 2 plus 60? 80. So in other words, when x is 2, y should be 80. 2. That's not a good drawing. 2, 80. It's true. Question? So basically, I was just going back and showing you at the value of 2, it should be 80, which makes sense because that's where our line crosses. No, remember, it's rise over run. Well, how are you going to get 1/2 from 20 and 2? what is the distance between these two things? 20. Just because it's one block on the graph doesn't make it valued at 1. Does that make sense? Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, number 3 is the same thing, except this time the bottom is counting by 5s, and the left is counting by 1s. So beware of that. So let's pick 2 points. Let's see. It's crossing here, and it's crossing here. Okay, so we can draw our triangle. Okay, what is my rise? 1. This time it is 1. What is my run? How far? 5, because these are increasing by 5 each time. Okay, so how do I write the value for that? Y equals what?
Negative 1.5.
1 over 5, and we hadn't got to the negative part yet, but what type of slope is this? It's going down, so it is negative. And then where does it cross the x-axis? At 9. So that's pretty straightforward, right? I just do rise over run, and then I look, is it positive, negative, and then I find the intercept, and I write that down, and that's it. So let's try to answer ABC with this one. The scatter plot below shows the number of items in a load of laundry and the number of minutes it takes to fold laundry. Write a trend line, specify what each variable represents in the context of the situation. Okay. So what should our equation be? We have to do what first? Pick 2 points, right? Okay. What are these counting by this time? 5s, okay. So if I draw my triangle, what is my rise? What is my run? 10. Okay, so how do I write 5 over 10 or 10 over 5?
5 over 10.
Okay, and 5 over 10 is the same thing as what? 1 over 2 or 1/2. So for A, we have y equals 1/2 x. Is that a positive or negative slope? Positive. Okay, and then where is our y-intercept? Where does it cross? 0. So do I need a b value? No, I don't. So that's our equation, 1/2 x. But let's write down what x and what y are. Okay, so x is the number of what? Okay, so it's the number of times we're moving or multiplying by this m. Okay, but what is the variable specifically in relation to this problem? What does x represent? Items. X is the number of items, right? The thing on the bottom, that, okay? And then y is the number of minutes. So use the equation to predict the time it would take to fold laundry containing 60 items. Okay, so y equals 1/2 x. Now, which variable do I need to replace with 60?
X.
Okay, why do I need to replace x?
Because it's the number of items.
Because it's the number of items, yeah. Okay, what's 1/2 of 60?
30.
So, 60 items should take 30 minutes. Okay, let's try the next one. Y equals 1/2 x. And it says Joey took 22 minutes to fold laundry. So, which one does that go with, X or Y? No, is 22 minutes, is that a Y value or an X value? A Y. So I'm going to erase my Y and put in 22 if the thing will process. Okay. So now how do I get X by itself? It's being divided by 1/2 or being divided by 2 already. How do I undo a fraction in this is something that we did last year, but very briefly. So you multiply by the reciprocal, So I'm going to do that on both sides. Okay? So 1/2 and 2/1, they do what with each other? They cancel, and we're left with X. And then what's 2 times 22?
2 times 22 equals 44.
Divided by 1 is still 44. Okay. So what is something we could say? It takes twice as long to fold the laundry as number of items. Sorry, half as long to fold the laundry as the number of items. Or there are 2 times more items than how long it takes to do the laundry. Okay? I want you guys to try number 5 on your own. Okay. So on this problem, I hope everyone got A at least. We have a y-intercept of 300 because that's where it's crossing the graph. And someone asked a minute ago, how did I get 12.5? Well, the rise was 50 and the run was 4, so 50 divided by 4 is 12.5. You could have kept it as a fraction and done 25 over 2 or 50 over 4 if you wanted. But I thought it was just easier to do 12.5. Okay. And the slope is negative, so it's got to be minus 12.5. And then x is the number of days, and y is the number of drinks. So did everyone at least get number or letter A correct? Okay, great. And then B says 12 days go by, and so since x is days, we plug 12 in for days. And so 12.5 times 12 is 150. And so when we subtract that from 300, we get 150 sodas left. So at the end of 12 days, it's about halfway empty. Were most people able to get that one as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then the more difficult one is C because we have to solve for x, and x is on the side with all these numbers. So it says 50 drinks left, so I set it up. My y value 50 equals the equation negative 12.5x plus 30. Okay, sorry, 300. So first thing I have to do to get x by itself is to remove the 300 from both sides. Remember in math, what you do to one side, you do to the other. So this goes away now, and we're left with 50 minus 300, which is 250. So 250 equals negative 12.5x. How do I undo multiplication? Divide. So I divide by 12.5 on both sides. When I do that, you see that they cancel, and we're left with that, which is 20. And we're left with this on this side, which is x. So 20 equals x. Okay? If you have a question about this process, we're going to do it again, and we will keep doing it, and we'll do some more practice later. Okay. So Julian made a scatter plot to show the number of band members at his school over the years. The trend line of the scatter plot is y equals 6x plus 25, where y represents the total number of band members and x is the years since 1990. Okay? So we have y equals 6x plus 25. So how many students would you expect to be members of the band in 2005? Well, first we have to find out the number of years. So how many years has gone by from 1990 to 2005? 15. And so we replace which variable, x or y, with 15? X, because x is the number of years. Okay, what's 6 times 15? 90 plus 25 is?
115.
115. So, after 15 years, we would expect the band to have 115 people. Okay? Now, the other one is going back the other direction again. In what year would you expect the band to have 85 members? So 85 is which value, x or y? Y. So 85 equals 6x plus 25. What do I have to do first in order to get x by itself? I have to get the 25 away first. So minus 25, minus 25. What are we left with when we do that subtraction? 60. So 60 equals 6x. And I think most people here can see the answer already, but we want to do it fully so that way we understand how we get that answer. 6x, how do I get that x by itself? I do the opposite. So divide by 6. What is 60 divided by 6?
10.
So 10 is equal to x. So how many years have gone by? So what year is it?
2000.
2000. Because 1990 plus 10 is 2000. Okay. So the next is a true-false. The scatter plot shows the elevation of several hikers compared to the number of minutes they've been hiking. Use the scatter plot to mark each statement as true or false. Okay, so the first statement is the trend line, y equals negative 900x plus 20. Yes or no? Okay, why is it no? Where does it cross the y-axis? 900. So what did they do with these two things? They flipped them. So false. You could expect a hiker who has been hiking for 20 minutes to be at an elevation of 500 feet.
False.
Well, how do you know that?
Well, I mean, 10 minutes gets them
10 minutes is 700, okay. 10 minutes is 700. 20 minutes would be 10 more, right?
Yeah.
So how much did it drop in 10 minutes?
A lot. 200.
200. So if we did another 10 minutes, would it drop another 200? So what value would that be then? It would be 500, right? So it's true. Now, how could we have tested that? We could have wrote y equals negative 20x plus 900 and then replaced y with the 500 we were looking for. We could have done that. Okay. So same thing. C, could you expect a hiker at an elevation of 200 feet to have spent 45 minutes hiking? So y equals negative 20 times 45 plus 900. So I plugged in 45 minutes for x. So what's 45 times, does anyone know 45 times 2? 90. So 20 times 45 would be 900. So that's 0. So does that equal 200? No, so that's false. Okay? That's it.